of a relation, like in number 1, you just list all your x's for your domain, but they have to be in order, and then all your ranges have to be in order, all the y's. So, Ransom, what are all my x's here? Just name them out.
2, -1, 2, and 5.
So now tell me them in order. Go ahead. Least to greatest.
-5.
What was the next one?
2.
Good. And if it's listed twice, like 2 is listed twice, you don't have to write it twice. That's it. That's the domain. So for the range, it's just the y values in order. So Darian, tell me what that would be.
0, 6, 7, 8.
Missing one.
What am I missing?
What's the smallest y value you see?
Say 0.
Yeah, 0. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What's the next one?
6.
Go ahead.
7, 8.
Good, that's all. So anytime you listen to domain and range, that's all you have to do. Alright, now, a relation becomes a function when no two ordered pairs have one x go into two different y's. So I want you to put this. One x go into two different y's, that's going to be not a function. So, for example, on part A, you can't see over there. Okay. Part A, just look at your x values, okay? Jalen, name all the x's.
1. Oh no, I thought okay, never mind. 3, 2, 5, and 0.
Are any of those repeating x values?
No.
So this is a function. That's all you have to check. So Colby, are there any x values in here listed more than once?
Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
And notice how it has two different y values. Right here we have a 6 and a 5. So this is what? Not a function.
Wait, why is that a function?
Because we have the same x value, 1, but it's going to two different y values. Then it's not a function. This 1 right here, say if this is in my domain. And in my range I have a 6 for y, a 5 for y. I would draw this 1 going to both of them, correct? And notice how I put the example up here. If you have one x going to two different y's, it's not a function. Amber and C, are there any x values that repeat?
Yes.
Which one? The 3? Yes. So we have 3 going to 4 and 3 going to what? 8. So it's not a function. Alright, everybody. D, is it a function or not a function?
A function.
Very good. Because all of our x values, none of them repeat. So there's only 1 5 for your x, 1 3, 1 2, and 1 8. So we already knocked out the first learning target. See how easy that was? Everybody feels good about that, right? Yes, you do.
I wasn't sure.
Alright. Now let's tell if it's a function by looking at functions. These are relations. These are actual functions. So all you have to do is solve for y in each one. And if you have, let me see, 2 different x values for a y value, then it's not a function. So here's what I mean. On A, how would I solve for y? How would I get y by itself?
Subtract x squared.
Good. Subtract x squared. So I would get y equals what?
Negative x squared.
Good. Now let's do B and let's see how they compare when we solve for y, okay? Over here, how would I solve for y? Subtract x squared again. So I would get y squared equals what? Minus 4? Plus 4. Have I solved for y here? No. So I need to do what? Divide by what? What's the opposite of squaring something? Say again.
Square root.
Square root. That's the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
So on this side, I'll get y, correct? On this side, I can't really take the square root of anything in here. Could I take the square root of 4?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can?
Yep.
Mm-mm. Good. These are one term, so I can't take it. But I can write plus or minus on the outside, right? Correct. If you get two answers for y, and this is two answers because it's a plus and a minus, correct? Then it's not a function. So if you get a plus or minus for y, it's not a function.
So A was a function.
So a is a function. We didn't have to take the square root. So somebody tell me a shortcut. Perfect. If you see a y squared in the function, you know it's not a function. Because you're going to have to take the square root, right?
So we just write that in that function.
Correct. So is this one a function?
Yeah.
Yes. Is this one a function?
No.
Nope. Because of the what?
Y squared.
Y squared. Alright, that was learning target 13. Done with that one.
Can you have squared and y squared at the same time instead of just doing the extra work?
Could I have just what now?
Square x squared and y squared at the same time.
Could I have taken the square root of them?
Yeah.
But you'd have to take the square root of this side too. But yeah, you could do that. Alright. The special notation. Can somebody tell me what that says?
F of x is y.
F of x. Good. That's what I was looking for. This is read f of x.
Y.
And it's the same thing as what?
Y.
Y. Very good. So I want you to put same as y up here. And it represents a function at the number x. Therefore, if you have something like a, where it says f of 2, what's the difference between these two things? And this is not a rhetorical question. What's the difference between these? One has an x and one has a what? 2. So all they want you to do is plug 2 in for what? X in this equation. Okay? So, Justin, tell me how to write this function, except for the x's I want you to say 2 instead of x.
X squared.
Instead of x squared, say what?
3.
You're thinking too hard. I'm just plugging in what for x right here?
2 squared.
Yeah, 2 squared plus 3 times what?
Oh, squared. 2.
Good, plus 5. That's all I wanted you to do.
I'll take them
Alright, now Miles, tell me what this would be.
4.
And this. And so my final answer would be what, everybody?
15.
That's it. And you can write f of 2, because that's just what we found, is 15.
Yeah.
Alright, same thing for b. This time, instead of plugging 2 in for x, we're plugging what in for x?
X plus 3.
Good. So I'm going to write this whole entire equation, except for all the x's, I'm going to put parentheses. So again, I just rewrote this. Instead of x squared, I put parentheses squared. Instead of 3x, I put 3 parentheses. And what am I plugging in for the parentheses? Alright, what are we going to have to do here? Full.
We have 4.
Good. Because this is x plus 3 times x plus 3, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, tell me my first terms, Kaya, if I multiply them together. Good. Tell me my outer terms, Cade.
Plus 3x plus 6x plus 9.
3x plus 3x plus 9. But I get you. You combined them already.
Just skip it.
Alright, Alyssa, tell me what this would be once I distribute this 3. Good. And then we just bring down the plus 5. So again, this part came from pulling this out. This is the full portion. This part, 3x plus 9, just came from distributing the 3. This one we brought down. So, Michaela, tell me my final answer with everything combined and simplified.
X squared plus 9x plus 23.
Very good. So all you do is combine these and combine your whole numbers. That's it. Do C on your own. And then we'll go over it together. Yeah, so when you plug this in,
Just use those negative.
yes. We'll talk about it.
If I got it wrong.
We'll talk about it. Alright, it's okay. Amber, tell me how to set this up. Just plugging in negative x for x.
Negative x squared plus 3 times negative x.
Alright, notice how I put this in parentheses. Alright, the negative x.
Yes.
What would happen if you squared this? It would become positive, right? Because what's negative 1 squared? Positive. So it'd be x squared. This would be what? Negative 3x. And then does this change? That's it. So don't forget, anytime you square anything, it's going to come out what? Positive. Very good. Alright, how do y'all feel about these types of problems? Everybody good with those?
It's gonna get hard.
It's not going to get hard.
No, I'm
It's
just
gonna be-
saying, I always talk about easy things. Like,
Flip it over. Be positive, Antonio.
yeah, they're easy.
Alright, so as we discussed, a relation is not a function if you have one x coordinate that has two different y coordinates. That's what we talked about on the front. The same applies to graphs. So to easily determine whether a graph like this is a function, do y'all remember what y'all used?
Get ruled.
Yes, vertical line test. What does vertical mean? Up and down, right? You forget this is up here. Horizontal side to side, vertical's up and down. So how do you use vertical line test? Everybody should have a pencil or a pen. All you do is run it across this graph, okay? And if it touches your pencil in more than one place as you run it across, it's not a function. So you can see here on this line, as I run my pencil across, it's only touching it in one spot everywhere, correct? So would this one pass the vertical line test?
No. Yes.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Alright, here it's only touching one place. Move it along. Here, only one place. Here, only one place. Here, only one place, right? What about this one?
No.
No, because see right here, if I held up my pencil, it would touch here, here, and here.
So you said the first two.
So the first two are functions. This one is not a function. Because what is this x value right here for these three dots? 0. Good. So this might be 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, negative 1. Notice how these are three different x values, or excuse me, same x value, 0, go into three different y values. That's why it's not a function. Everybody good with that? Okay. Now let's talk about interval notation. So this is kind of from Algebra 2 with trig / just regular algebra. Do y'all remember what happens if the endpoints are closed? Do you use bracket or parentheses?
Correct.
Good. You use brackets when you're including a value. So again, use brackets when it's including something in the interval, and use parentheses if it's not including. Is that how you spell parentheses? I think it is. Alright, so we're just going to look at these two number lines and put it in interval notation. So for this first one, the thing that we're describing, let me highlight it, is just this shaded line right here. That's what we're describing. So we're going to describe where it starts and where it ends. So what number does it start at? What number does it end at? So we write it as a coordinate point. Starts at -2, ends at 5. Now, is this an open or closed circle?
Oh, that's open.
Open. So are we including -2? No. So it needs a what? Parentheses. And on this side, it's closed, so it needs a
Bracket.
Very good. For this one. Mm-mm.
Positive.
Does it stop at -2? It goes on to what? Not infinity, but negative infinity. Where does it stop at on this side? 3. Do y'all remember what infinity gets?
Bracket.
Hold on, Colby. Why does it get a parentheses? Why is it open? Good. So can you ever reach infinity? No. So you can't include it because we can never reach it. So it always gets a parentheses. Always. What would 3 get? Very good. Everybody remembers interval notation? Yes. Okay. All right. We talked about this. Our domain represents which values? X values. Good. Range represents what values? Is X going horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
So side to side, right? I want you to put left to right right here. Or L to R. And Y is from up and down, right? It's talking about up and down. For each one of these, we are going to find the domain and range and put it in interval notation, like this. Okay? So starting with this function right here. The first thing we want to do is the domain. That's talking about how far left does this go, how far right does this go. And these are your X values, right? So how far left does this go? -2. How far right does it go? 1. Good. -2 to 1. Now, these are closed endpoints, so what do these get? Brackets, and that is your domain. Because it's talking about your X values.
What about the range?
For your range, start with how low does this graph go?
0.
0. Good. That's the lowest point. It's at 0. And the highest point? 3. Open or closed? Closed, because they're closed endpoints. That's it. Alright, let's do 2 more together. Which ones do you want to do? Or does it matter?
Oh, C.
C.
C and C. Oh, both C's.
That's a E.
That's an E.
Yeah, what comes after D in the alphabet? That'd be an E.
Yeah, my boy like C.
Alright, we'll do C then. So tell me how far left? -2. That's good, Jalen. -2 is how far left it goes. How far right?
1.
Bracket or parentheses right here?
Bracket.
Right here?
Parentheses.
Very good. For range, how low does it go?
0.
1.
Good. It's not at 0, but it's at 1, right? And then it goes how high?
-5.
-5?
Positive 5.
Bracket or parentheses?
Bracket.
Right here?
Bracket.
Good. Questions? Alright, let's try the domain together. That means I'm going to call them tonight. Alright, Kaya, how far left does this go? Good. Where does it stop at? There's a closed right here, but it does go to 4. We just have to put what around the 4? Parentheses. Good. And let's talk about this one. We have to make sure that it hits every X value from 1 to 4 if we're going to put it from 1 to 4, right? See how at 2 it's got an open circle? So can we include 2? Is it including 2 right here if there's an open circle? Sure? Where else is X2 right here besides this dot? Above it, right? And this would close this circle in. So we are including 2. Same thing here. It looks like we're not including 3, but this closed circle indicates we are hitting this 3. Does that make sense? Yes, kind of. All right, now for the range, Cade, how far or how low does it go?
1 1.
Okay. Now, does it ever hit anywhere between 1 and 2?
Yes.
So there's a line right here between 1 and 2?
No.
No. So we can't say that it goes from 1 to 3, right? Because it's missing some spots. So you just write these as points. It hits 1. What else does it hit? What Y value?
2.
And
Yeah.
what else? 3. Very good. That's how you would write that. Instead of an interval notation, you just write it as 3 points. It hits those Y values. That's the only weird one. Try B and D on your own. Have to get them right. You did the bell ringer, though. I gave you a piece of candy. Let me know if you need help on these.
So this range from infinity
No, he's gonna, because this has a slant to it, so it's gonna keep going up eventually.
What'd you get?
Very good. Only thing is, this is an open circle, so this is all the parentheses right here.
Let me get that almond joy.
Not yet. Alright, so I'm going to call on 2 different people. If you get it correct, that means everything. Interval notation, parentheses, bracket, everything. You can get a piece of candy. You want to do B?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Alright, domain.
Parentheses, -3, 2 with a bracket.
Alright, range.
Parentheses, 1, 2, and a bracket.
C correct?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Alright, who wants to do D? Darren, you got it?
Maybe.
Alright, let's try it.
Okay.
Domain.
Parentheses. Infinity.
Anybody else want to try it?
Yeah.
You want to try it?
Parentheses, negative infinity.
I can't hear. What'd you say?
4 in a bracket.
Alright, range.
Bracket 4 in infinity. With parentheses.
What'd you say right here?
Oh, the first one?
The range.
4.
You want to try the range? Go ahead.
Bracket 0 to infinity with a parentheses.
Good. Let's talk about this one. Good catch. Alright, the domain. It's on the left. How far left does it go? Well, it goes on forever, but it's in the negative direction. So it'd be negative infinity, right? And how far right does it go? 4. And this is a closed circle, so it needs a bracket. Now for the range, how far low does this go? Looking at the Y value, 0. Good. And then this looks like it's going kind of sideways, but we know the further left it goes, the higher up it's going to go, right? So it's going to go to what? Infinity. Good. Alright, what I want you to do now is work on your homework. Now, you can do this 2 different ways. It's on Google Classroom, like the pictures of it, or you can look in your book, but it's these problems. I think it's only like 8 of them. You can listen to music while you work on this, but I want you to try this on your own. If you need help, you can ask somebody around you or ask me. If you decide to just sit there and not do anything, that's fine. You'll just get a 0 for your homework, but you do have choices. Okay?
Wait, when can I finish my test?
Now, if you need to finish your test, move to the back and just have a pencil and a calculator. Yeah, if you'll just clear everything off.
Are they doing number 2?
No.
Let's say at the very bottom.
A and
You have B written on my sheet.
that's it. A and B. It just got cut off because the hole. Sorry.
So we don't need to.
No, don't do 2. So 4, 6, 32, 34. This is 56 through 60 even, 78 through 82 even, and this goes for 78 through 82. Your book is under your desk. Okay. Justin, you finished with your test?
Oh. No, 3 more.
I had a question. Do we have to leave?
And if you thought having the test, it'll be 0.
Did she not put it on Google Classroom? Is that page 2? Yeah.
Oh.
The one on Google Classroom is right. It's just the page numbers are just wrong.
Why they put forward as if you just here? Oh, that's another.
You start on homework, now both of us. Oh, one more thing. If you get done with your homework, just let me check it and then you can pack up.
Well, yeah.
Was that 55? There's no way this is I'm just saying, I can go back there.
Let me know if you have any questions.
This is the correct page number, which is not that. Yeah. So you want to do 210 or 223?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take it all.
Do not look on Google Classroom.
Yes.
The boxes are wrong.
Sorry. This is correct. And you can take that book home. Take it. The book that you're working on.
What is on Google Classroom?
That's ours? This is our
I don't
book?
have a book under my
Yes.
desk.
To keep at home?
Yes. Make sure you bring it to class every day.
This is
Or if you would like, you can leave it and just take a picture of it. It's not work, okay?
Yeah.
But this is correct. Don't look on Google Classroom. Sorry about that.